Good morning and welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or one of the 50% of the people watching this video that have not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside the show while it is live, so toss me a buck or two in there if you are liking the show. And most importantly, if you would like to join the debate and express your views on the shape of the Earth, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click on the link below this video to join the panel. There are a couple of rules on the show. Number one, please do not swear. If you do, you will be ejected. And number two, if you are ejected, please do not try to rejoin the show using sock accounts. You will be warmly welcome back on the next stream. In a moment, I'm going to transition across to my photograph so I can share the show on Facebook, Skype and Twitter. And I would encourage anybody who is currently in the live stream to please also share the show. I am hugely appreciative to all of you who do exactly that, as it gets more people in the live audience and therefore there's a greater likelihood of having more people on the debating panel. So please share the show. With that, I'll say once more, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Do a few quick shout outs rather than typing them, as it's a lot easier to read them than it is type them. Mute my iPad. Right, so got the rig. Pleased to have you here, the rig. First one in. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Please share the show. Rune Thornson, thank you for being here. Hope I've got your name correct. Thank you very much for being here. Nice to see you. Fanny Lancer, proud sponsor. Good to have you here, my friend. Thank you for being here. Hope you've been enjoying these shows. Cat Earth, nice to see you, my friend. Your japery has kept me going through some of these streams. Very pleased to have you here. Nice to see you. Sleeping Warrior, nice to see you as well. Proud contributor to this feed. Been making the show what it has been in many ways. Physics Warrior says wubba wubba. Same to you, my friend. Very pleased to have you here. Oh, have I got some post? What's it say? Subscribe to this channel? Oh, thanks, Eleanor. Her writing's really coming along. Shout out to Ashley Brown. Very good to have you here, my friend. Very pleased to see you. See if anyone else has joined us. That's about it. Should I get my links in immediately, or is it too soon? How many minutes have we been going? 4 minutes. Probably a bit too soon to go through links immediately, but yeah. If one of you who are in the live chat at the moment could just click on the link just to check that the show is actually functioning, I'd be very, very grateful. Boss Ute, good to have you here, my friend. Very pleased to see you. Thank you very much for being here. Got a munchkin on me. And Leonard, also good to see you, my friend. Thank you very much for being here. Once again, if one of you could check. Ah, perfect. We've got somebody in. Let's just see if I can get your name. I don't know if you're going to say anything, but clearly the Hangout works. Oh, it's the Rig. Good to see you, the Rig. You're saying something, but I've not got the desk turned up. Let's just do that. There we go. Good to have you, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
All working perfectly. What's the car?
Commodore.
I take it that's your car.
You probably don't know what that is.
I do know what a Commodore is. It's an Australian car. What do you call it? It's Holden, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a car guy. Definitely. Yeah, I know what Holden Commodore is. Has it got a strapping great V8 in it?
Yeah, it does, actually.
Cool. Very cool. Love it. That's what I would do if I was out in the States or over in Oz. I'd buy a massive V8 that drank a shitload of petrol. Thank you for testing. I don't know if you wanted to. The mic's all yours. You're free to spout your rhetoric if you choose to do so. Nobody's here to challenge you.
We all know the Earth is a globe.
Okay, so those of a nervous disposition might be advised to look away now. But thanks to the Rig's comment, which was, the Earth is definitely a flobe, I'm going to play out Shill Scanner's video. I wasn't going to do this, but now that it's pretty much the first comment in the Hangout, I'm going to play his video anyway. So this is definitely a flobe by Nathan Oakley featuring Shill Scanner. It should actually be the other way around, by Shill Scanner featuring Nathan Oakley. But there we go. Here we go. This is definitely a flobe. Guys, I've got to get some composure before I go on camera. It's a bit much to process. Give me a minute. It's a bit much to process. Just give me a minute. It's a bit much to process. Just give me a minute. It's a bit much to process. Just give me a minute. Let's just get to this link. Definitely a globe. Definitely a globe. Right, let's get it together. Definitely a globe. Definitely a globe. Let's just get to this link. Definitely a globe. Definitely a globe. Right, let's get it together. Definitely a globe. Definitely a globe. Hello to Shoutouts.
Fornicated a globe, man. Deep inside their brain is where they're going to have to probe. Man, it's time for you to accept this globe earth reality. Apples don't fall from the tree because of gravity. Fornicate your flat plane, you mother effers are insane. The only reason that you believe is to jump upon that hipster train. Bindy water, bindy light, showing objects out of sight. Super share, super like, Nathan needs a motorbike.
Chill, Scanner. Gotta get through this link. If you are new to this channel, be sure to subscribe. Stop laughing. Stop it, you put me right off. If you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you'd like to support this channel, be sure to hit the super chat, and if you'd like to join the debate, because it's extremely intellectual at the moment, hit the link below the video to join the debate and express your views on the shape of the earth. There's only a couple of rules. Please don't swear. Oh, I'm gonna give up. I can't do it. Blow. 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 Blow, 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 blow. So that was definitely a flobe by Shill Scanner. Hope you all enjoyed that rather disturbing experience as much as I did the first time I saw it. Hey, let's get rid of that. Still no guests, so unfortunately, after that, it's going to be back to the pictures. Oh no, we are! Perfect timing. We've been joined by, I think it's Make 4. Is it Make 4? And Alex French. How you both doing?
I'm doing good, Nathan. How are you?
Not too bad. My OBS has got a little bit screwed up, so you're going to have me on camera for a moment while I sort it out. But other than that, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm a little bit concerned for Shield Scanner and how much free time he's got.
Yeah, I agree.
But I still enjoyed it. So good work, Shield Scanner.
Right.
Shout out JJ in chat.
Hola, amigo señor.
Hello, mate.
Quiet,
How you
before
doing?
I'll turn you up, my friend.
Good, good. Oh, am I always low? What's up with that?
No, everybody's different. Everybody's different, and you know, some are quiet, some are low. I shouldn't really say that because it makes people conscious of the fact that I'm changing their volume, and some people get antsy and think that I'm turning them down, and I am. But it's so that everyone's exactly the same level, at least as much as I can get them.
Nice. Good, good. I'm happy with that.
It doesn't make any difference to us though, because Nathan's always really quiet for us. That's why nobody ever stops talking when he when he's trying to do his thing.
That's intentional. I mean, I can just turn you down, and you probably never watch the replay either when it's rendered.
Yeah, it's different on the replay. I know,
Exactly.
yeah.
What people hear is very different to what you get in the Hangout, and intentionally I keep myself low in the Hangout so that I'm less likely to interrupt the action because I'm more keen to, because I'm the host, and often what people are saying is often more interesting than me. So I deliberately keep myself low in the Hangout, and then if I want to be heard by the audience, I just turn you down.
Yeah, that's true as well. Yeah, we're often way more interesting than you, Nathan. I agree with that.
Slick.
So Mark, your name's Mark, isn't it, buddy? Or Make 4? Which you prefer? Call you Make.
Hey, Marcus, actually.
Marcus.
If it's easier for you.
Yeah, it's just like Make 4's. It's kind of a weird one. Doesn't come off the tongue very well as a name.
Yeah.
But how you feeling? You've had a few days in the Hangouts. You've been you had a good session with the King of Ireland last night. How you feeling?
Not too bad, not too bad. I'm still on the fence, I think. I
You're
think.
still on the fence after Pete Dodo. Okay, that's interesting.
Well, you see, I don't know. Gee, see, people like Nathan, they start convincing me again, and then they go back to ballers like you, and they convince me the other way. So what do I do? What do I do?
Nathan doesn't know anything, and Pete Dodo's insane. So I think the only solution is to go to Globe, really, or lose your mind.
I was thinking losing my mind would be pretty good, actually, instead of just worrying about this.
Well, losing your mind is worry. That's what I'd say. Like, if you want to return to normality and not worry about stuff, then I suggest getting out of the conspiracy game altogether. Yeah, actually, and I think it's good to open your mind, but I think when you go too far in the conspiracy movements, you do start getting a bit too paranoid. A bit, yeah, it's not good for you. I've said this a lot of times, but it's not good for you to think the whole world's a big conspiracy. Even if it is, still not good for you to think about it all the time.
Very wise words. If this is disturbing to you, you shouldn't be doing it. I find this experience extremely positive, and therefore I continue to do it because I find it good for me. And regardless of what's happening around me, often I find that extremely entertaining when people are going bonkers. But if it's disturbing you in that way, if you are that bonkers nutter, just go somewhere else, do something different, do something that makes you happy. Very, very good advice, Alex.
Thank you, Nathan. I find that I often do give good advice.
That's why I keep my mic low.
It can be like really upsetting to some people, like if you just don't know what's going on. Is it flat? Is it round? Is it a fucking dodo bird? Did I say the F word?
Try not to swear. You've been on loads of times now. I would just boot you immediately, but
you're lucky you're on the fence, otherwise you would have been out. If you were a Glober, you'd have been banned.
Now I boot flatties for swearing.
Do you know that comment there? That comment there is what I came on for, Alex. Not necessarily that one, but the end of chat yesterday, Mark spotted Ranty's fake ISS footage.
Oh yeah.
Did you see that yesterday?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, Mark spotted it, right? And when Ranty was making this footage, he did it on the back of Red's Rhetoric's video, which I've not seen. So Reds, if you're out there watching, please make it public so I can see it, because apparently he got dusted. But in any event, Ranty looked at it and thought, I could make that in 2 minutes on one of my videos. So he did. And I said, put the time at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because obviously the picture was taken at night time. So put it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and see if anyone notices. He said, no, it's too obvious. And so anyway, he put it out. And obviously Mark spotted it, and he said it was a fucking full moon. That it wasn't full moon that last night.
But don't get in trouble now, boys.
Well, no, but to be honest, he was right. He was quite right.
Oh, 100% right. 84% moon yesterday, and that's nothing like close to a full moon. So
agreed. Now, to be honest, that was not.
And it was going the wrong way as well. The ISS.
Well, that was done intentionally. I said to him, you do realise it should be going the opposite way. And he said, yeah, just leave it anyway, see if they notice. So we did it intentionally, right? And I said to him, right, who's going to spot it, if anybody? And he said, I don't know. He said, I don't know. Who'll spot it? Anyway, cutting a long story short, end of the conversation yesterday, Mark was saying, basically, I'd like to quote him really, but in his absence, I don't think I'll quote him properly. I'll just do it generally. I was going to actually play the clip. What Mark basically said was, it's not fair that you guys push fake evidence, but when we do it, you guys, it's all right for you guys to attack us, but when you do it, it's not all right for us to attack you back. And that's true. On the one hand, that's true. But do you know something? When I presented my evidence of curvature, not of apparent curvature, not one person challenged me on what my observer height was. Yet when I do it when it's flat, everybody makes a big deal about it. So when I presented that evidence of curvature or apparent curvature, it was clearly demonstrated that I was like a lot higher up the hill than what I would normally be. Nobody questioned it. It was just accepted that it was curvature. I got no trouble.
Well, the higher up the hill you are with the curvature is more evidence of curvature, isn't it?
Yeah, but the curvature's in the middle ground, and it's prominent. So that as you get higher, you're not going to see that. It would level itself out. So
sorry to interrupt. Before we continue, Sleeping Warrior, can you turn down your speakers and turn off your camera? It's just you're causing a bit of feedback. That's all. And we can't see your icon. It default puts your camera on, even if you've not got one. We get black screen.
Just to annoy you guys, and just for Nathan's sake, because I kind of like Nathan. I'm going to say that I'm like on the flat side, guys. Just warning you. Just giving you a warning. All right.
That's a
Did you
nice
say?
compliment.
What did you say? You're on the flat side or not on the flat side?
He's
I
just
am.
a troll, man. Just, just pretending he's a flat earther.
Well, I just don't know if it's flat. I'm not sure if the globe model works.
Well, mate, the flat model has even more problems.
But I mean,
good luck with that one.
the
But
flat
we haven't
model
got a
does-
model, have we? Really?
Okay.
We don't really have a model. If you subscribe to any particular map, they've all got their issues with them. But yeah,
It's very honest of you, Riley. You are honest. I have to say about some things, about your evidence and stuff.
Yeah,
Like
but
you were saying with your
by
bias.
default, I'm not honest. Everybody says I'm a lying piece of shit. So, well, you know.
I don't say that. I get a lot of flack. I genuinely think you just get confused sometimes. Like,
Yeah, but
that's
there is a massive difference between lying and being wrong.
Yeah,
This is the bit that that word gets interchangeably used between everything to do with being wrong to pushing ISS footage that's fake. Now, Ranty pushed that. He didn't really push it. He just put it out there. Mark spotted it. Credit where it's due. But Mark also pointed out that it's not acceptable if they push out fake evidence because we give them so much rubbish for it. That's true. But when I put out my curvature video, not one single baller asked me what my observer height was because it went with the perceptions. It went
yeah,
with
but the height was irrelevant when you were showing us that video because we were seeing the curvature. So if you were saying where's the missing curvature, then we'd be worried about your height.
Yeah, but if you look at the video in relation to where we would normally be at the beach, we're normally like literally right on the beach almost. But on that one, I'm clearly like up a hill, and that would negate the curvature. It works against the present.
Yeah, exactly. But you still saw loads of curvature. That's
Yeah.
why no one really cared about your height because you
That's what I
see
mean.
loads of curvature.
That's what I mean. So Mark's point is, why is it that flat earthers can criticize the ball earthers on their evidence, but he felt that the flat earthers couldn't be criticized back? Listen, I get so much abuse because of my evidence of footage and photos and stuff all the time. But Mark, it's not true to say that that you guys don't get. It's about the same. We all get about as much abuse. If you go and collect evidence and you say, "I think this is A, B, or C," you are going to get attacked by the opposite side, and that's the way it goes. But it works. It does work both ways, Mark. If we put something out that's wrong, we get hammered for it. If we put something out that's borderline, we get hammered for it. Even if it's right and it looks crazy, we still get hammered for it. Because I'm the one that gets it all the time. So on the one hand, he criticizes us, but on the other hand, criticizes us for the ISS footage being intentionally fake, which he didn't realize it was intentional. But on the other hand, nobody mentioned the observer height in my videos. It was just.
But you see how that it's not even really comparable, right? One's a fakery, a forgery, and yours is just you're saying that we didn't mention an aspect of what is a real piece of footage, even though it really, like in my opinion, just wasn't relevant. From me looking at it, there's no reason for me to know your observer height because what your pictures were demonstrating is curvature.
Yeah, but well, it's apparent curvature. But did you just accept
higher height than a lower height, which is more pronounced, right? If you're seeing curvature at a higher height, a higher observer height, then you're seeing more, right?
My point was, did you just default? Was your default position? Oh yeah, that's curvature, and that was it. Or did you look at it and go, it looks a bit high there, or you didn't look at it?
No, it looks a bit low. I mean, no, not your observer height. I mean, it just didn't matter. I saw a boat that was lower than it should be if it's on a flat Earth.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't a consideration. You just accepted curvature.
Yeah. But there wasn't anything to fake. There wasn't anything to look at. I mean, there just wasn't any reason. If you were saying, like, here's a boat, right? And there's no curvature and it's on the horizon, then we might have said, well, what's your, and it's this far away. Then we would have cared about your observer height. We'd be like, well, what's your observer height? And
no, but don't you see the
cleverer than me would do the maths? And...
Don't you see the hypocrisy though?
Can I just say two words just so Alex understands? Just in your language, Alex, you're demonstrating confirmation bias. So when you say, what I saw was curvature, before you've even analysed what you're seeing, you're already looking for and seeing the thing that you want, which is the words you're using. So you're always phrasing it curvature, not a view of the lake, not a view of the sea. You're seeing and looking for and waiting, expecting to see curvature. So therefore, when it's something that attributes itself to that, you go, curvature.
Well, it's because the boat was hidden by an obstruction of water, which would...
But that's not how you phrased it. But that's not how you phrased it. You immediately said curvature. You said curvature.
I mean, there isn't like. I mean, this. I know we're having a debate, but it is curvature. I mean, that's a fact.
How do you know? Alex, how do you know it's curvature
because it doesn't work on if it was flat, the boat wouldn't be hidden by any curvature.
Textbook, absolutely textbook.
The further the boat would go away, the higher it would be in the view. It wouldn't stop sinking.
Agreed, but wouldn't you expect me to get that 9 times out of 10 rather than 1 time out of 10?
Well, to get it 1 time out of 10 when you're at a high observer point for once, I mean, that's even more impressive. I mean, that's what I mean. What you're saying here only backs up what we're saying. So, you know, you can raise the point. I was at a higher observer point. It doesn't take anything away from what we're saying about the picture.
That's completely wrong, because the amount of apparent curvature in that evidence is high. But at that height, it shouldn't even be there. I haven't done the maths on it. But
it just shows you that how big the boat was and how far away it was.
Yeah, but then turbines are only 5 miles away.
I mean, did you bother going to the beach then? You should have gone to the beach and filmed it at boat level and seen what happened to it.
Well, if you remember when I came on, I didn't know what it was. I asked if anybody would know what this was. I thought it was a structure of some kind that they were building. So I didn't know it was a boat. But if I'd have known it was a boat, I'd have gone down to the beach and done exactly that. But now I can watch out for that particular boat being there in the future. Looking behind it, because obviously if I've seen that boat in the past, it's never been behind the curve. I've never seen that before, so it's always been above the curve. So obviously this time when I've seen it, I'm looking down and I'm thinking, what on earth is that?
This is the problem, isn't it? Because a boat is so small and the horizon's so far away, you need a fairly big boat or a power, like a wind turbine or a city skyline to actually observe like a good amount of this obstruction, because the object has to be fairly big, right? Otherwise, you know, it just shrinks onto appears to, from what you're saying, to sort of shrink out of your eyesight.
Yeah, but what my point is, though, at the height that I'm at, it negates the curvature that will be there, because I'm getting that high that boat it's in the middle ground and the distance.
Yeah, but you need to do the maths on that to really. If you want to say this definitely negates the curvature, then you should have taken your observer height. You should have tried to do the maths and say, well, this boat would have to be this far away for this much of it to be missing.
Well, we could do it now.
I can't do the maths, and you can't do the maths, so you need someone to come in and do it. But
well, no, and I know what
I
know what roughly my observer height would have been, because the tide was almost, well, it was on its way out, and I know where I was on the road. I can estimate my time, I can estimate my height roughly accurately. And the only bit I can't see is the exact distance to the boat. But what we should be able to see is how much should be obscured as an approximation, and see is it even consistent. But I don't even think there'd be any curvature there according to the maths because of my height. And that's a fair assumption, is it?
No, the curvature is always there on the globe model. Sorry, I don't want to presuppose anything, but like the curvature of the globe model is always there. But the higher you go, the further the horizon goes back.
All right, let's just do it as an exercise. Let's just do it as an exercise.
So technically, if you were on the actual beach, you would hopefully barely see any of the boat, right? I mean, depending on how high up you actually were when you took that picture.
Oops. Let's get rid of the sound. If I'd have known this was a boat before I took the photo, before I took the video, then I would have done the exact thing that you said. But but before we move on to the maths of this, right? I mean, I just don't. So I'm sorry to say, I don't accept the comparison between this and people pointing out Ranty's footage. And before we move off of Ranty's fake footage, it was a test devised by you guys for the Globers, and we passed with flying colours, A star. Yeah, but but the one thing you did pass, but it was on an unexpected thing. I agree, but the line that Mark said that was most prominent, for me anyway. Hang on, just let me have a think about how I'm going to do this to demonstrate. I need to know the observer height. I can't do two things at once. So this is the road that I was on, and I was parked. If I got flick back to it, there's a gate there. It's just before this gate. So there. Oops.
Yeah. So if you got the time of the picture, you know the location, you can easily figure this out.
Yeah, so it's about 23, 24 feet, but it's above water level, but the tide was almost out, so it's about a 9 meter tide. 9 meters plus 24. There's not going to be any curvature there, dude.
Well, have you done the maths properly? I mean, we need someone who knows how to do these things.
Let's do the maths. The observer height was 23, 24,
while you're doing the maths,
a 9 mile tide.
Anthony, sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah. I just want to clear something up. Are you essentially saying that what we've all had demonstrated as curvature / obstruction, you're saying there just shouldn't be any curve there anyway?
No, that's a good. Yeah, that's
I love
exactly
it.
what I'm saying.
This is brilliant. It gets better and better.
So there should be about 1 foot. Because if we say that the boat, let's just go back to the screen.
It always gets better.
If we go back to this, I mean, I'm not. I'm just. All I can tell you is that the turbines in the foreground, or this first turbine, is 5 miles away, and the one that's behind it's 12. So the boat's behind 12. So I'll have to check it with Ranty for the exact numbers, but the first one is 5. So let's just guess. Should we go with 10 for the boat? 10 miles away.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I have no idea.
Well, we'll go with 8.
No idea how big the boat is.
Well, this one's 5 miles away. It's on the horizon. It's measured. I think it's 5.25 miles or something like that. The one behind it is a bit further back, and it's behind that. So if we go with, let's just go with 5. We'll go with 5 miles because we'll just lean.
What for the pylon?
No, for the boat.
Can't we look how big how far away the pylon is? Have you checked it? Have you?
It's 5 point something, 5.26.
Right, and the one behind it, how far is that away?
I don't know that specific one, but I could get Ranty on it if he was on.
All right, find that one out because it looks like it could be further away than that one, right?
Let's see if he's around. About. I don't know if he's working or whatever, but let's go with 6. That's just to give us a rough idea.
That doesn't sound like it might be right. If that pylon's 5 miles away, and the boat could be a lot further away.
Yeah, no, but I'm just doing it in your favor because well, I don't really get any of it, but because I'm just trying to try because I don't get the maths. I'm just trying to say that the black marks on the bottom of that pylon, is that where the water rises and lowers, or is it just a paint? Yeah, that's where the water rises and lowers.
Right. So that other boat must be a lot further away then.
Well, if you zoom in, you can see that it's.
I mean, because that must be right on the horizon, and that one there. So.
I agree, but if I put in a bigger distance, if I put in a distance that's too big, it's going to give us more curve. So we're better off putting in a distance that's not as far away, so that we don't get as much curve. Or do you want to put it in? It's up to you.
You're trying to say there should be no curve. So if we want to get, it seems like that's in your favor. But okay,
I've just realised it is in my favour. You're right.
Whatever you want. I mean, just
all right. We know that this is 5, and I think this is 8.
I don't know.
Should we go with 10?
You just said a minute ago you don't know how far that is. Now you said it's 8. And a while ago you said it's 10 or something.
No, the first one's 5. I know that the first one's 5.
We don't know how far the
second one is. To the point.
I think in reality, you're never going to know how far that boat is away, are you? You're just never going to know. So it's hyperbole.
I'm going to put it in at 10, just to make the point on the distance at miles. Put that in at 10, and the viewer height was 60 because it's a 9-meter tide. Well, it's a 10-meter tide, but it's nearly out, so it's 9. That gives us 30 feet's worth of water distance covering it, like from the water distance. But I'm actually
30 feet over the water, are you? You should.
That's at low tide, but that's if I'm stood at the point where the high tide marker is. But I'm not. I'm above that.
How have you calculated that? Have you actually got
well,
that on?
I did it on the Google Maps. Look,
you show us. Yeah. No, I'm not. I'm just trying to say, just so everyone can see.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Close that.
I think it's miles better to just focus on the things you do know exactly what their distance are, like the turbines, because you've got demonstrable, measurable, quote unquote curvature on those turbines. The boat is pie in the sky. This is just hyperbole.
Yeah, I agree, Nathan. Like we have no idea where the boat is.
23 and 29. It is hyperbole, but we'll go with 50. But I just want
let's do it to a pylon. Let's see how much they should be off the back pylon, back turbine. Sorry.
Look, the viewer height of 50 feet, that's less than what I actually am. It's about 55, but round it down. Distance in miles at 10. It's like virtually nothing. But everybody accepts that it was curvature. Let me go back to the vid. So although it is hyperbole, it's an approximation based on the facts that we can ascertain and a rough calculation. Where's it gone?
Yeah. So let's do it on the back pylon because we can see what a pylon close to us looks like. I'm sure we could even bring up a picture of a full pylon. All right.
But what I'm saying is on the facts that we can ascertain roughly now, they're not that far out then, to be honest.
You see that back pylon, it's got very little obstruction on it. So I would have thought that the boat is a lot further away.
What was the point of this? Were you trying to say that back pylon isn't actually showing as much curvature as it should because you can still kind of see the base of it? Is that what you're going on about?
Well, no, the point originally when I took the video was to try and identify the structure, because I thought this thing here, I thought it was something they were building, because this is a work area. They're making all these turbines, and every time I go, there's more. And I thought it was something to do with maybe a bridge or something. I didn't know what it was. And then someone said, no, it's a boat. And I looked at it, and I was like, what are you on about, a boat? And then he showed me an example of what the boat actually is, which is this one. It's not exactly this one, but it's not far off it. But you can see there's the bridge. You can see that there's the H structure. There's the H structure, and there's a mast. And then we can see there's the H structure. There's the H structure. There's the mast. And obviously there's now the bridge. You can see that it is a boat. But I didn't know that at the time. I looked at it and I thought, I've never seen that before. What's that? So I zoomed in just so I could identify it later on. And when I came on, somebody said it's a boat. And I was like, ah. Now, obviously, at that point, I was like, oh, I wish I'd done something different, but I couldn't tell it was a boat when I first looked at it, because it looked like it was a structure. Because it does, it looks like a structure. But now you see it's a boat, it's blatantly obvious. But I don't know. Yeah, it's how big is this and how far it is. But in any event, my point was, nobody had asked me what my observer height was. They just accepted it was curved.
You made that point a few times, and all I can say is it just doesn't matter. From my point of view, it doesn't matter. I can't speak for anyone else, but I'm pretty sure they'll say the same thing. It's not.
But it does. It matters to the audience, and the reason it matters is because, without being rude to you, you're demonstrating classic signs of confirmation bias, and it's true on both sides, flat Earth and globe Earth. That's why it's important.
Well, the reason I'm saying it doesn't matter, Nathan, is because Nathan is trying to claim that because we caught out his fake CGI, and Mark's made this comment, and we caught out Ranty's fake video he made last night, which he made and admits to his fake. I'm not saying that. He says that. That this is somehow equivalent, that because we didn't ask him the question about his observer height, then that somehow is equivalent. And that's what I'm saying doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to the point he's making. It does matter to calculating distances and curvature, of course. But the point Riley was making in the originally about this picture, the observer height didn't matter to the point he was making, or we were making today.
No, it does matter, because it was just accepted to be curvature without any questions whatsoever.
Yeah, because Riley, the higher you go, the less you see. So like the fact that we see lots at a higher observer point really doesn't matter. If you were seeing no curvature at a low observer point, then it would then we'd be questioning things, right?
Yeah, but I think you're missing what I'm saying. Nathan's got it. You're missing it. What I'm saying is, when I get evidence that's not consistent with the ball, everybody attacks me on where were you and what was your height and can you prove it with GPS and what about somebody there with a blah blah blah, and everybody's got all these things, right?
Right, and it was consistent with the ball, so nobody asked.
But it's not, really. But no one's challenged it to see is it consistent with what the ball says.
Well, we could do that if you want, like now, if it's important to you now. But what I'm saying is, A, it's not equivalent to Ranty making up fake footage to test us. These are not equivalent things. Us not asking about observer height on a real piece of footage is not the same as Ranty making fake footage and us going, "Why are you making fake footage to test us?"
It is before you respond. Sorry, Anthony. Sorry, before you respond. We've been joined by P. Mal. I was very pleased to have you here, P.
I just think it's interesting. Riley is complaining about people challenging his evidence, because when
that's not what he's saying. He's complaining about people not challenging his evidence. It's quite the contrary.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant. Whatever. Yeah, that's what I meant. Because the thing is though, when Soundly produced the evidence with his P900 footage at Lake Pontchartrain, Riley viciously attacked that in a very unfair manner. So I don't know what he's complaining about, because he's doing exactly he does exactly what he's saying they didn't do or whatever.
So I've got to say it again, P, you've completely missed the point. He's complaining that people aren't attacking him.
Yeah, but he's also complaining people are attacking him too. He's doing both. Because he's saying, whenever I put out evidence, I get attacked.
I don't know, P, you're kind of superfluous to this conversation at this point, I'm afraid. Sorry.
I agree. I don't see why we'd need to attack you, Riley. You came on, you said that you thought this is curve, which we agree with. So there was no reason for us to attack you on it, because we actually were quite happy that you said that.
Yeah, I know, but what I'm saying is that Mark said in the end of the hangout last night that when flat earthers challenge ball earthers on their evidence, that's considered to be acceptable, but it's not when the flat earthers do it back. Well, what I'm saying is, if I produce evidence that supports their version of the narrative, their perceptions, I would expect them to challenge it, because that's what Mark was criticizing the flat earthers generally last night in chat. I think what I'll do is I'll get his words so that you can hear it in
Yeah, I
the
think you
context.
need to, because this doesn't make any sense, Riley. Like, it really doesn't. Like,
Yeah, I'm
I
not-
understand the general point you're making about your footage, and nobody made that comment. Fair enough. But from
To be
my point
fair-
of view, there was no reason to. But I don't see how that's equivalent to.
All right, well, what I'll do
to
is
Randy's done.
give me 5 minutes because I can't do this while I'm listening to you guys in the background. I'll step off for 5 minutes. I'll go and get the clip that I want to cite, and then just show you the issue that I've got, and then I'll jump straight back on. Okay, give me 5 minutes, and I'll be back.
I mean, this is a guy who said Soundly like created CGI fake footage and like Soundly filmed himself filming it and then filmed himself going and immediately uploading it because of guys like Riley. So like I'm really just confused what Riley is complaining about here. He seems like a really whiny person.
Yeah, I don't see the equivalence. I get his point on the footage.
I think he's being a hypocrite too.
Yeah, I don't see it as equivalent though.
There are many
You
psychotic
both missed the point.
people.
He's demonstrating confirmation bias. I've said it about 3 times.
Yeah, but I don't agree, right, Nathan?
I know you don't agree.
That's you don't know what confirmation bias means, Nathan.
Yeah, I
like
do.
you're using it incorrectly in sentences.
Okay, fair enough, P. That's your opinion. I'm not.
I think people in the audience should go look up confirmation bias and they can see how Nathan doesn't know what he's talking about.
I positively encourage them to do exactly that.
No, because Nathan, what you're actually encouraging, technically, like, is you're encouraging everyone to disbelieve everything they see, and I have to check everything. You know, this, I see something that I expect to see, right? I see a boat going over the curve. Oh, I need to challenge it. Why? Why do I need to challenge something I expect?
He thinks it's
my worldview.
He thinks it's a confirmation bias because of his confirmation bias.
And it's not like if Riley was coming to me saying this is some evidence against what I believe, and then I was like, no, instantly, and dismissed it. Yeah, okay, that's confirmation bias. But that isn't what happened. Riley came to us with footage that confirms what we believe. So, but that's what ask Riley whether he came onto the Hangout saying, oh, I found something really weird here, guys. I've seen some curve. I've not usually see it. It looks like it's curved. That's how he presented it to us.
Yes. Confirmed confirmation. You're still not getting this, really? Okay, fine, no worries.
You're going to play a weird semantic game. Are you really saying that everything you see in life, when you see your daughter, Nathan, do you check that it's really your daughter? Do you think, oh, hang on, has somebody switched my daughter? I need to confirm this. I've got major confirmation bias here. When you kiss your wife,
I'll ask you a question to respond to that, Alex. Alex, has my daughter's validity ever come under question?
I don't know. Yes, I'm questioning it now, Nathan. Is your
right? Prior to now, has the validity of my daughter's existence?
Has the curve ever come into question?
Yeah, it has, P. What a shock!
No,
well done, P.
No one has
not as stupid as you look.
That's the problem, Nathan. No one's questioned the curve. We're waiting for proof. We're waiting for evidence.
We're all here
haven't produced anything.
questioning the shape of the Earth, P. I'll say it nice and slowly. When you heard something that confirmed your belief, it went unchallenged. Classic confirmation bias.
Confirmation bias. Anthony came to us with something that we know what it is already, and he's admitting that he thinks it looks like curve. This is not confirmation bias. Like, that's like me saying...
He came to something with you knew already, and what he came with confirmed what you knew already.
No, she's not. Well, that's confirmation bias.
Okay, I'll just chuckle away. I'll go on mute. You keep telling me I'm wrong.
Chuckle away, Nathan. Stop interrupting me and making yourself look silly. Because, like, I know you've got this thing that you think...
I'll do it instead.
Confirmation bias.
I'm still here.
I'd rather hear from you right now. Yes.
How you going?
Hey, dude.
What's going on, buddy? What are you guys fighting about? Bringing daughters and wives into this shit?
Dude. I'm not insulting Nathan's daughter or his wife. Before you go on
that's
that.
cool.
Okay, I was making a point about something you observe in your real life. Because Nathan said, well, it's never been brought into question. Well, I say, okay, what difference does that make? If I bring Nathan's daughter into question, is she a hologram? Okay, let's change it to his wife, okay? Just so it just seems less, or whatever, his mum or whatever, right? His best friend, right, is a hologram, right? Okay, now it's in question. Does that mean every time he sees his friend, he has to think, check, is that a hologram or it's confirmation bias? Because some nutter on the internet said that he's a hologram. I mean, it's just it's a silly point, you know. And not only that, I can't believe you can see the relevance to Riley complaining about this fake footage and us all spotting it, to not looking at footage that quite clearly isn't fake. Riley admits it's not fake. It's something that he's seen, and he's presented it in a way that we have no argument with it. It's just exactly what we expect to see. It's not confirmation bias. We can't spend our lives picking through every tiny little detail. This is what I was talking about. This is what drives people mental in their lives, because they can't just accept everything. I've got to be so hyper skeptical about the entire world and everything I see that you go mental. Some things you have to take
Pretty
to
much.
faith. You have to admit, and this is, you know, people say, well, why don't you know where the stars are? Blah. Yeah, okay, I don't. But at some point I have to think, that's a question for someone who studies that and who's into that field, right? And I have to think that there's so many people looking up at the stars or whatever the subject is, that somebody might raise a point. Somebody valid and credible who knows what they're talking about might actually raise an issue if there's one there. You know, and that's why there is issues in science where people don't know what's going on, and there's different theories about what could be going on, all these crazy mental, you know, theoretical physics, because people are still asking questions about the unknown. But the shape of the Earth is not one of those questions. End of rant. /rant.
Brad, so like, how do you explain the sun setting in the southwest in Canberra, Australia? Go, super scientific explanation right now.
I just want to just address something Nathan's saying. Not many channels dedicated to my daughter's existence. Not many channels dedicated to flat Earth, Nathan. Is the number of channels dedicated to something what's important? Because if that is, then flat Earth is basically not important, right?
For your argument to be valid, you said you questioned my daughter's validity. I'm saying the specific question that we're all talking about is curvature. And you're saying, well, in this instance, when I've demonstrated confirmation bias, the curvature question's not interesting. It's not up for debate. We're not looking at it. It's like we're on a channel called Flat Earth Debate.
Alternative explanation.
Okay,
I mean,
Alex.
I know you think there's a flat Earth debate, Nathan, but there really isn't one. I mean,
but we are looking at curvature, aren't we? We're looking at curvature. We're not looking at my daughter's validity, and there's plenty of channels looking at curvature.
You said to me, well, nobody's ever questioned it, as if that makes a difference. So now I'm questioning it.
It does make a big difference. It does.
There we go. I've made the difference.
You're saying you don't look at your daughter and question.
Well, it is ridiculous. It's
talking
your
over me,
standards
Alex. You seem to be very angry about this, and I can understand.
I'm not angry. Nathan, I am not angry. I'm just talking loud.
Stop talking over me then. You've asked me a question. I'm trying to give you an answer. You won't listen.
Okay, go on, give the answer.
Right, so
I
when
don't need an answer.
I've got one word out. I'll leave you to calm down, Alex.
I don't need. Yeah, what? Are you going to give the answer then? There is no answer. You said it makes a difference if someone questions it, and now you're saying, isn't that ridiculous? Yes, by your own logic, Nathan, it's ridiculous. That's why I said it.
Confirmation bias would be if we disregarded like evidence of the flat Earth or something, because we believe in a globe. But the thing is, we haven't been presented evidence of a flat Earth to disregard. Yeah. Like I've literally offered $5,000 for flat Earth evidence, and no one took me up on it.
Might bloody come down to Australia and give me that $5,000.
Yeah, we'll take a time lapse of the stars while we're there, and we'll figure it all out.
Yes. There's a southern pole apparently, and
you live there.
I would love to argue on the side of flat Earth, but if I had to provide evidence for flat Earth, the best thing I would say was, well, the Bible says it's flat, because there's no like scientific observation that I could use to give evidence for a flat Earth. So like, I don't understand how I could have confirmation bias if there's no evidence to have confirmation bias against. So that's what I'm saying.
Well, it's been a bit cloudy down here lately, but I am going to sort of like start looking at the old stars again, and sort of I'm thinking about I should mark them down and actually track their movement instead of just staring at them and being like, I think it moved that way.
Well, here's if you're thinking about doing something like that, an interesting thing to try and do is take one star in the southern hemisphere. It doesn't have to be, you know, sort of near the pole, but something in the southern hemisphere, and try and see how that would trace, like what movement it would make on a flat disk and how it would work. And that's when you'll start realizing it's a geometric impossibility. I know it's a thing that flat earthers are not being just, you know, I think if they manage to visualize the point some of us are making, they'd understand it. I mean, Nathan, again, is a classic when he said if we find more land, there'd be a third celestial pole. I mean, that is so insanely, I mean, it's just classic. I mean, if you understand the point, you understand how insane that is to make that comment. He said
That's all I
something like
said,
that.
Saul.
We might find more stars, or we might find more poles, or something.
Just completely misrepresenting what I'm saying.
Oh, what did you say then?
What I said was, if we were to discover more land, it may change the cosmology. I.e., as an example, you could find a third celestial pole, and that would completely ruin your argument that two celestial poles...
That's ridiculous.
I haven't
That's
even
what
finished my
I'm glad you
sentence,
said it
Alex.
again.
Alex, for God's sake, right? Let me
Don't get
finish
angry.
my sentence. You've asked me something. I'm trying to answer before I've even finished. You know. Exactly. Just let people finish. So my argument was, if your absolute proof that we live on a globe is that we have two celestial points and that can only work on a sphere, were we to find more land, it might be that we find a third one, which would destroy that argument. I'm not saying we will find a third celestial pole. It's given as an example of something that could change the cosmology were we to find more land.
Yeah, and if I looked under my bed, I might find a unicorn. You know, I mean, it's just it shows a massive understanding. I think even Eleanor understood what you're saying there. She was laughing. I mean, it's silly. We might find more land in a third celestial pole. How have I misrepresented that? I mean,
Well, I gave a specific example at the time, if you'll let me get it out, was that actually happened. We had a representation of how much land we had, and a cosmology that went with it. Then we found more.
No, Nathan. As far as we've always known, the stars were always moving on a sphere around us. We just thought the Earth was flat and the sun and stars went underneath us. Eventually, we managed to go and find more. We found the entire globe, and we now account for the entire celestial sphere.
So would you call that a change in cosmology?
Not really, no.
Not really? Are you having me on? Are you a moron?
You're a flat earther and you should calm down, Nathan. I think.
No, I'm asking you a question. Are you stupid or do you not understand what the words change in cosmology mean? Do you understand what a change in cosmology means? Do you understand what that means?
Yeah, do you understand what the celestial sphere means, Nathan? Do you understand there's no...
You're just asking me a question back.
Stars?
It is, but by definition, a change in cosmology...
I'm asking you the question back.
It's a change in
cosmology.
2 words I got out. 2 words. It is a change in cosmology based on finding more land. Specifically, my example, going forward to destroy a cosmology that is now in place after it changed because of more land. I'm trying to get it through to you and you keep misrepresenting what I said, Alex. It's frustrating.
As if I didn't get the question like about 5 minutes ago. I get it.
I guess
how can you fit more stars onto the celestial sphere, Nathan? Where do you fit them in?
Right.
You find more land and you fit in more stars. How do you do that?
Right. I don't know the answer to that. I'm not finding more land or saying we have one. What I'm
over it while you're arguing for a third celestial pole.
I'm not.
It's just unbelievable.
No, I'm not. That's not what I'm arguing. That's hypothetical.
Yeah, it's not hypothetically possible.
Right.
It's hypothetically possible for you to grow an eye out of your elbow.
That's nonsense.
Yes, I know. And so saying there can be a third celestial pole.
Right. What I have said specifically, I'll repeat now. Hopefully you'll let me finish. If not, I duck out. We have had a change in cosmology after finding more land.
Oh my God, but do you understand what the change is, Nathan? Do you understand what it changed from and to?
So you accept.
So
you do accept. So you do accept there has been specifically a change in cosmology.
Pole change. I mean,
is that what I said? Did I say there's been a celestial pole change or a change in cosmology based on finding more land?
That we could find more land and find.
Do you accept it or not, Alex? Do you accept that you were wrong and we have had a change in cosmology based on finding more land or not?
Not one that can lead to something like a third celestial pole. No,
that's not what I said.
And not a change in cosmology of the way we see the stars moving. No.
Right. The entire Earth that we stand upon changed, changing our cosmology. Alex,
on top of other evidence,
I give up.
Good. I'm glad, Nathan. You need to give up flat Earth altogether, man. It's ridiculous.
Well, if
this is going to be seriously embarrassing for you in a few years, Nathan. It's the most insane thing. I don't know who's going to be able to get through to you guys. Who's going to make you visualize these points? That flat Earth is just absolutely insane. There's just no evidence for it. Sorry,
We've been joined by Aries. How are you doing? Very pleased to have you here.
I'm good. How are you?
Very well. Thank you for being here.
But I agree with you. It's fine. You know, these things get a little heated. But if we do find more land, then the globe automatically has to be thrown out, because why doesn't the globe account for all this land? So either they would need a bigger globe or a just completely better model. And there's
That's
a lot
really
of
good point.
You can have a bigger globe, but would you think you can fit more stars onto the celestial sphere with a bigger globe? Do you think it's going to change the amount of stars we can see if you increase the size of the globe? Do you think
that's a good point. I mean, you know, we also have
the size of the sun.
You know, I mean, maybe there's a lot that we're not seeing and that we've, you know, that's been hidden from us and that, you know, we don't know yet. And so we have to be humble and keep, you know, trying to seek more knowledge.
Okay. Here's an example for you. If you're standing in the middle of a sphere, right, and you can look around and see everything on that sphere, no matter what it is, it could be paint, splashes, whatever, stars, but you can see the whole sphere. Would you not say that there's no room to fit anything extra into the sphere? Right, and the sphere's spinning around, yeah. So can we add an extra third spinning point in that sphere that's spinning? Is that even a geometric possibility?
I see what you're saying. You know, maybe there's a couple limitations, but you know, we have limited vision too. We can only see so much. I mean, depending on our height, we can see forever because, you know, like Samuel Robotham was saying, it depends on the arc of vision, you know, that you can see based off your height. If you get greater height, you can see more. So maybe we have limited vision at our current height, but if we get higher, we might be able to see more.
But in my example,
we have enough height.
But in my example, Outrave, I'm saying you're just standing in I'm not talking about a massive sphere. Someone's just put you in the middle of a sphere, you know, in your room or whatever. And you look down, you see the sphere, you look up, you see something. You can see the entire sphere. You're free to completely look and move your head anywhere you like. Where in that sphere can you fit more stuff? You know, how do you do that?
It depends on whether I go with your paradigm that we're on a sphere.
No, you have to. It's my example. That's my example.
Because we don't look down anywhere to see the horizon. You just keep looking forward at eye level to see more land, which means that there's an additional boundary, probably all the way to the dome firmament or whatever is the actual real boundary. So we haven't seen it yet, and it seems like the people that are on the globe are saying that the land is so gently sloping you can't notice it for miles and miles and miles. We keep on getting more vision, miles and miles of flatness. You know, when's it going to stop? It's never going to stop. It's flat.
Or it's just so gently curving. That isn't the question I asked you. That isn't the question I asked you. I'm not asking you to fit a paradigm or anything. I'm just saying in an example. No, I'm not. I'm not. No, Outrave. I'm asking
my knowledge starting out.
I'm just asking you a simple geometric point. You can accept it or reject it. And then it's nothing to do with the Earth. I'm just saying if you're standing in a sphere, you know, physically standing in it, and you're looking around, and you can see every object in that sphere or whatever, there's patterns or whatever. Is there any room to fit anything else without changing the shape? Right?
If that's the paradigm, then no.
So and that's what we're talking about, and that's the only point. You can't fit a third celestial pole. You're in a spinning ball or a sphere. You can't fit a third rotational axis in there. Well, it's only one rotation anyway.
That was exactly my point. On your sphere, you can't fit a third celestial pole. But if you found one, wouldn't that ruin the celestial sphere?
Oh, it would, Nathan. So go and find one. And then
that's my point. If we had more land, we might. That was exactly my point.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, anyway, in that moment, he's going to get transitioned across because we have about an hour left on this live stream. So I'm going to run through my links. If you are new to this channel, or you have not done so already, and about 50% of you watching this have not done so already, please subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a link to Super Chat that runs alongside the show while it is live. And most importantly, if you would like to join the debate and express your views on the shape of the Earth, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click on the link below this video. There are, however, a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number 1, please do not swear. If you do, you will be ejected. And number 2, if you are, please do not try to rejoin the show using sock accounts. You will be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. If you've not done so already, please share the show on social media, and one last time, if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate.
So they like Ohio is saying that I'm not taking into account Nathan doesn't see the Earth as sphere. Of course I'm taking that into account. What you guys don't, well, not they lie Hawaii, I know they lie Hawaii, I can't even get the words out, but I'm not saying what you're saying, but The point is, you can't make the celestial sphere fit onto a flat disk. You can't make it work. You can't make our observations work. None of this works. The whole thing about flat Earth is absolutely ridiculous. And I don't know how many more debates people are going to talk about the same things over and over again and just reject the other side like it's not a valid point or there's no evidence of the globe. It's completely dishonest and just, you know, it's just embarrassing. You're going to be embarrassed in a few years. Believe me, I was a flat earther. It's embarrassing.
Well, you don't see any parallax in the stars. You don't see stars moving in front of it and behind each other.
You do see parallax in stars, man. Yeah, it's just that's another lie from flat earthers.
The part where the indoctrination comes in is as astrologers tell you this, but when you look up, all you see is perfectly circular star paths. So you have a disc there. Can you even trust
it? Dude, that's another problem for you. How are you going to have perfectly circular star trails on a flat disk? How is that going to work?
With the moving firmament over our heads,
yeah, but how is it going to be circular?
Stars moving around us while we're still.
How does it come out as perfectly circular?
That means that we're still and they're moving, and it's in probably a solid structure or something that is moving around us.
Dude, have you ever tried to do this? Like let's go on a flat disk, make a dome above you, put the stars on it, and spin it. You won't get circular star trails. There'd be a blake because they're close to you, they're coming closer, and they're moving further away from you. The reason we get circular star trails is because we're on a globe. I mean, Jeren's just demonstrated this before. I swear Jeren did an experiment. He might have deleted it because he looked silly at the end of it, and he sort of visualized this himself.
So you mean that we're moving? Do you describe the geostationary flat Earth?
No, it doesn't matter. I don't know whether we're moving or the stars are moving. I tend to believe the general accepted opinion because I don't know enough about the subjects to disagree with it. That's what I learned after coming out of flat Earth, is to not think, I'd be so arrogant as to think I can figure all this stuff out for watching YouTube videos.
Well, I mean, that's true too, but if you ascribe to the Earth moving, then, you know, what about Aries failure and some of these other experiments that disprove that we're moving at all? All of the experiments seem to point.
Aries failure had to do with like how light propagated through space, and they were testing to see whether there was an ether or not. And flat earthers have taken that and conflated it to mean something it really doesn't. Same with the Michelson-Morley thing.
Yeah, all these experiments disprove that the Earth is moving at all. And so you don't see the stars moving in front of each other. Put your hand out in front of you, move it side to side with your head, and you'd see the fingers kind of seem to move in front of it and behind each other. This is not observed with the stars. This should be observed with the stars.
But dude, you just said this.
I've looked into those experiments specifically, like researching flat Earth, and they do not disprove that. Like they have to do with the ether and how light propagates and how light from the sun reaches the Earth. That's what they're about. They're not about like whether the Earth is moving or the stars are moving. That was like a lie.
Have you actually looked into the experiment yourself, the one you're picking up? Do you know about it? Or did you
Aries
just watch flat Earth videos about it, didn't you? You didn't actually do it.
Aries failure was basically trying to say
confirmation bias, like Nathan was saying earlier.
Well, there is a little bit of that too, but the Aries failure was an astrologer trying to look through a telescope or whatever, and he said, okay, the Earth is moving. I'm coming from the assumption the Earth is moving, and I'm going to use a telescope that is going to bend the light from the moving star, so I need to tilt my telescope to compensate for this movement. He found he didn't have to do that. Therefore, the Earth is not moving. If he didn't need to move his telescope in a special way or whatever, this is the basic summary of his experiment. He said,
so the stars aren't moving as well, yeah? Everything's still, is that what you're saying?
The Earth isn't moving.
Because he didn't have to move his telescope.
To accommodate for the bending of the light from the stars as it entered the telescope. And you're going to get all
but one of them's moving, isn't it? So shouldn't he have to move his telescope?
The stars are moving, we're not.
Just like a very good point to think that the Earth's flat, mate. I mean, even if the Earth isn't moving, it's still not flat. I mean, the point of the circular star trails will show you that. But if you're not geometrically, like, if you can't understand it, visualize it, then I can understand. This is the problem with all flat earthers. You can't visualize anything, because if you could. When I was a flat earther, I spent all my time trying to visualize the flat Earth. It's almost impossible.
Alex, can I just pick you up on that last point there about visualizing the stars? I mean, you can see on my screen right now that I've got a star trail like what we see in the north, and it is the north because there is a northern pole star there. But in any event, how can you contrast?
I'm really sorry. I'm just about to play a video showing what Aries failure actually is. So,
okay, go on.
So I've actually transitioned to the photos just while I get it set up. So I'm just going to play that out. If you can give me 10 seconds.
Right, you know your tunnel video thing there with your stars. You do realise though that you could keep walking and go underneath the star, and then it would flip around as you kept. So I mean, you couldn't do that with a tunnel. It's not a very good
Sorry, I thought he was playing a video. I didn't have the watch page on.
If a telescope is pointing at a star, and both are stationary, then obviously the light comes straight into the telescope. In 1729, Bradley found that he had to tip his telescope forward very slightly to get a star in the centre of his telescope. It was assumed that this was due to the motion of the Earth around the Sun. Let us assume that the telescope was moving at 5 miles an hour and had to be tipped 5 degrees. This 5-degree tipping, however, could equally be caused by the ether moving at 5 miles an hour, carrying the stars around the Earth. As we see here, the light would be coming in at the same angle, and the telescope would still have to be tipped 5 degrees. So tipping the telescope does not tell us whether it is the starlight moving or the telescope moving. However, there is a simple experiment that can determine whether it was the Earth that was moving or the ether and starlight. All that you had to do was record the tipping required for any particular star, then fill the telescope with water, which greatly slows down the speed of light in the telescope. So here is the moving telescope filled with water, tipped at 5 degrees, and you can see that the starlight does not now reach the eyepiece at the bottom. This is because the starlight moves much more slowly when passing through water. However, if the telescope is tipped further, say 10 degrees, then the starlight will then be visible again in the eyepiece. It has to be tipped further because the light is now slower when in the telescope. But if the starlight is going past the telescope at 5 miles an hour, then when it is filled with water, no further tipping is needed because the light is coming in at 5 degrees anyway. The starlight stays on the same path but is only travelling slower in the water.
So when I watched that video, when I was new to Flat Earth, I thought it was evidence for Flat Earth. But if you notice in the video, he's talking about...
The result of Aries' experiment, known as Aries failure, was that the telescope does not have to be tipped further. This proved that it was the incoming light that was moving past a stationary telescope fixed to the stationary Earth. This experiment is never taught to university science students. They might begin to question what they were being taught about the cosmos, the universe, the Big Bang, evolution, and much else.
It's taught like it used to be an idea in science, but it's been disproven. It's antiquated. So obviously, why would they teach it? So like this, it doesn't really. This doesn't prove. This doesn't prove that the Earth is stationary. It has to do with how light propagates, and it's about the ether. And the ether is an antiquated idea, which scientists used to believe that a light couldn't travel through a vacuum of space. So they believe that it traveled through this stuff called ether, and it reached the Earth through this substance called ether, which we know now it doesn't. So it's not taught. And the thing has nothing to do with flat Earth or geocentrism. It doesn't prove anything.
This is everything to do with flat Earth. This is about scientists with their godless agenda throwing out evidence that disproves their model.
Hang on, dude. You're changing subject again. You see,
are you listening to me?
Subject.
I'm talking. This is about how light propagates. It's not about stationary Earth or flat Earth. That's what the experiment's about. Light propagation.
Do you know who Aries was?
The guy in the video mentioned ether 2 times. Yes.
Did you know who Aries was, though? He was
the ether doesn't exist.
He was the astronomer royal.
What the hell?
Yeah, and Nathan, why aren't you explaining this to us yourself for a flat earther? Why do you need to play us a video if you understand it?
I know more than they know.
Yeah, Pete Mars has explained it back to you, and nobody's got anything to say other than try and switch the subject. Do you know who the guy was? Have you heard about the godless?
Well, actually, I have. He actually said, correct me if I'm wrong, but did P. Mars say that the ether doesn't exist? Is that what you said? Because it was antiquated?
Yeah.
Have you got any evidence? I want you to go and find a piece of evidence that says that the ether does not exist, and it's got to be.
Riley, I didn't prepare evidence about the ether for this debate because I didn't think this was about how light propagates to Earth. So I'm not prepared.
Don't say stuff.
So if you want to, no. If you want me to, I will.
Okay, go and do that, and then come back to us.
You can't just put me on the spot in a debate.
Right, go and do it then. Go and do it, and be quiet until you do.
What the? No.
Don't let him troll you.
No, hang on. I'm not trolling. Hang on. I had to spend 10 minutes and go and get the information I wanted.
You are just flattered to have threesomes with Karen P. I'm not going to go look up evidence.
Right. I had to take 10 minutes, and I had to go and get the evidence that I wanted to get so I could make my point. So I've come back with the evidence, and I'm asking you to go and do the same.
No, Riley, you're constantly changing the goalposts. This is never going to change. PMARS, I advise never coming on the show again. Cat Earth, I also advise the same thing. There is nothing to be won here. They don't care.
So why?
We've been joined by Lewis Hackett and also Nick L. Very pleased to have you both here. Unless Lewis has just come. Lewis has just come for a moment. How are you doing, Nick?
Yeah, I'm good. Good, thanks.
Very pleased to have you here.
Thank you.
I agree with Lewis's point, though. But Nick, you know why the ether doesn't exist, don't you?
That's the Michelson-Morley experiment, basically, isn't it?
I think we're talking about Aries failure right now.
Yeah.
Let's hold that point until P. Mars comes back with something to say.
No, I'm not doing that, Riley. You're not putting me on the spot for evidence on a debate that has nothing to do with light propagation and act like you have some little victory.
But you've made an assertion, and I'm asking for the evidence.
And you're just here to get
yeah, but Nick, why does it matter who gives you the answer? You just want the answer, right?
Yeah, I want the authority that shows that the ether is antiquated, because it isn't.
Well, the thing is, we got to get out of the rabbit hole. I mean, we need to see how this truth is another truth. If this is limited, then there's a chance of a lie being propagated that only works in a very narrow, extremely confined system. We need to relate this to other truths, if there are other truths out there, including the ether. Maybe they were wrong about that too.
Do you know, Nick, why the ether doesn't exist? I don't know why.
The ether. So there was this experiment. You've probably heard of it on Flat Earth. A lot of them like to bring it up. It's called the Michelson-Morley experiment. What they basically did was they took a light source, a coherent light source. They split it 90 degrees, and they measured the phase change of the return signal. And the idea was, if you rotated the whole apparatus, there should be some kind of drag based on the ether, which was considered originally to be this medium that light travels through. But the result of the experiment was that there was no phase change, and the conclusion they drew from that was that the speed of light is invariant, and that's how basically how relativity started, with the idea of the speed of light being a constant. That's basically the experiment which brought it up. I don't really honestly see what it's got to do with the Earth moving or not. Honestly, in my opinion, if the Earth was stationary or moving, the result would be identical.
Nath, could you present my screen so I can just deal with 3 points and then I'll step out?
I think it's really interesting that we just have a bunch of social vampires here. That's basically what Flat Earth is. You have people who are extremely dense. They don't want to learn, but they also do want to argue and steal everyone's energy.
What?
Just a bunch of drug addicts. And
yep, I completely agree. You could pour your heart and soul into these people for empathy and wanting to care and wanting to help them. And that's all they want. That is what they want. They want your energy. They want your attention. And I think if we stop giving it to them, they'll go away and figure it out on their own.
Why aren't there people like you helping Bible bashers then?
Right, listen, let me respond to 3 points and then I'll give way. P-Mars has just made a point that there is the ether is an antiquated concept that has been superseded by science. Well, if you search for the timeline of the luminiferous ether on Wikipedia, it gives you a nice chronology of everything that's happened in relation to this. And the first point, 4th century before Christ, Aristotle publishes Physics, in which the ether is briefly described as blah, 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 Aristotle, blah, blah, blah. But basically, it goes through the chronology of everything that's happened to do with the ether. And in here, you've got things like the Michelson-Morley experiment, you've got the Sagnac, you've got the George Biddle-Aries failure, and it goes up to modern day. And you can look through here, and you can literally see, I mean, let's go to something more recent. I'm just looking for one that's going to mention something to do with the ether.
See, the last one there says there's nothing. 2003. That was said no shifting.
I said it was an antiquated idea because the video that Nathan was presented said it's not taught in schools anymore.
Right.
Which would make it an antiquated idea. So what are you trying to argue here?
That
are you trying to have a threesome with me?
No, your position is that it's been superseded because it's antiquated, and my position is that's not true, and I'm going to show you why it's not true. I've asked you for evidence to support your research, and you haven't got any, so I'm going to show you evidence that goes against
Nick L just said Michelson-Morley and Aries failure prove the ether doesn't exist. That's why it's called Aries failure.
Well, that isn't the point that was being made by either of them experiments.
Yes, it was.
It absolutely was. 100.
No, that's a misrepresentation.
Do some research, please,
right, so
and then come back on the panel.
Let's go to the Michelson-Morley experiment then.
What the heck?
Click the link on it. It's a link.
Hang on.
Anthony, you're on the page where you're
click it.
What are you doing, Anthony?
Let's see what it actually says.
Dude, how are you going to believe these schools are teaching
denying the page.
Things fall into fashion, and out of fashion in science all the time. Our knowledge of science is going to change in 50 years anyway. A lot of times you have to just basically do your own research and come to your own conclusions.
Well, no, you can't do your own research.
Right, let's just address the point there. Now, P. Miles has just said, you've got it on the page. Well, I had stuff on the page with curved water the other day, and he simply wouldn't accept it. So don't laugh at me for looking at stuff that's on the page when your own boys do the exact same thing. Let's see what it actually says.
Not my boys. I'm a lone wolf.
Michael experiments. The Michelson-Morley experiment produces the famous null result. A small drift is seen, but it's too small to support any fixed ether theory. Fixed ether, not ether, fixed. So it was a narrow interpretation of the ether, and it's so small that it might be due to the experimental error or to experimental error. So that's all it did. So in relation
what
to
does the latest result say?
So it's evidence that says there's no.
Couldn't find anything.
Thank you for proving me right. Thank you.
And it's nothing to do with the Earth moving, right?
Yeah,
just because you're
fixed ether. Fixed ether.
Right.
Do you not understand the words that are being said?
The basic idea is that
I understand.
It's one theory of ether. So you've got to find a theory of ether now that works and that we can find and test for.
The basic idea is that if we're on a ball rocketing through space, there should be some sort of cosmic ether wind hitting the planet. Okay, outcome of Band-Aid theory, no ether, fine. So does that mean that we're not moving or not? Obviously, they're trying to get rid of the ether to get rid of any idea of movement. Fine. Aries failure shows that we're not moving at all. Another Band-Aid theory.
You don't have to get rid of the ether. Both experiments
return the same results, whether we're moving or not.
But these scientists keep on narrowing the field, telescoping, and trying to push out any sort of implication that they don't like. This is manipulation.
Alrave, were they not looking for the ether? I thought that's what they were doing.
Yeah, that's 100% what
they didn't find. They were trying to
These
prove
scientists are so shifty. If you say that you're trying to look for the ether and trying to prove stuff like God, they'll be like, well, we're not going to give you funding. We're not going to be your colleague. We're not going to associate with you. This is how insidious it is, and it happens even now in science. This is the type of stuff people need to be wise to.
That happens with stuff like climate change, not with like the shape of the Earth. Though.
It happens all over the scientific community.
Yeah, but not flat Earth. Nobody's arguing about the flat Earth in the scientific community, bro.
Yeah, they are. This is what this
said it
directly
yourself,
relates to. They're looking for a fixed ether, i.e. the stars being
find me a
fixed
theory
and
that
us
works,
moving
mate.
on a sphere.
We know that light is like a wave and a particle and all that stuff, and it can pass through a vacuum now. We don't need the theory about the ether anymore.
You're on a panel, Sleeping Warrior. Just interrupt. Don't feel like you have to be polite.
I don't like being rude. Right, so just to wrap up the point about the ether, there is a lot of evidence that goes both for and against the ether, and the current thinking is yet to be produced. But the way it appears is that the ether does exist. They're arguing about what effect it has. So unless PMARS does come back with evidence to support his assertion, we have to accept that the ether is something. Whether it is something that we can describe or not is a different matter, but it does appear to be there. That's the position it appears based on the evidence that I've just presented that you can all look up. Cited,
You haven't presented any evidence. I've
the
presented
timeline of the luminous ether. That's what I've. But you've cited nothing neither, PMARS, and
I've presented all the evidence. You have nothing.
You haven't presented any evidence.
I presented all the evidence. You have nothing. You
All
just
right,
make.
so I'm going to move on from this now.
You try and have threesomes.
Kyle. So let's move away from that. Let's go back to Alex. Alex said about the stars. I said about the stars. I said if you have the stars rotating in the northern skies or the southern skies, whichever, how can you contrast them between a tube or a flat sky? And Alex said, well, if you look at this star, if you look at the stars as you traverse the night sky, you can see that the stars move with you. Now, I'm going to show something that doesn't support that.
Oh,
Well,
right, maybe. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Carry on.
You said that the stars travel with you as you go down. So as you go under,
your perspective would change of the stars.
Right. Now, what I'm showing is there's loads of photos now from planes where pilots have taken time-lapse photography on long flights, and you can see that the stars don't do what you say they do, or it at least appears that way. I'm not saying that it's a fact that it's that way, but the evidence to support your assertion doesn't appear to be there. Now, I'm not saying that you're lying.
You're not traveling very far, are you?
Well, he travels in this video. He travels from Europe down to South Africa.
Okay, so it is a good distance.
Yeah. So he's. I mean, it's. But what this video is showing that the stars don't seem to do what you're saying, and I'm not saying you're lying. Perhaps you might be mistaken, but I'm saying that my position is I'm not sure.
So you're saying if you did this on Stellarium and set it up, you wouldn't see the same thing?
Absolutely. If we did it on Stellarium,
have you done that?
No, I haven't. Because I want
before you tell me this isn't what we're supposed to see.
Well, we know that when you go on Stellarium, the stars move over your head. We've all seen that. And if that's something that you really want me to demonstrate, I'll have to install it because I don't bother with Stellarium.
Riley, the stars would only like move over your head drastically if they were close.
Right, but you made the assertion before that the stars, as you move down, the stars go over your head.
What I'm saying severely, I'm saying if you went out, like if you're saying that rotation point there, that time lapse, you're looking, say, north, is it?
Yeah.
Right. And you went all the way over the North Pole.
Oh, you're not flying north-south. You're flying east-west there, Anthony. You should know that. It's looking straight at the Milky Way in the night sky. So you're lying.
Available, ladies.
There you go.
Well, hang on. Run that by me again, Lewis.
You're flying east-west in that shot, not north-south. You're lying.
We're flying Europe to South America.
You're flying east to west, Anthony.
That'd be east to west.
You can tell because of the stars. Anthony, Anthony, you can tell because of the stars you can see in the night sky. You don't see those stars when you're facing north-south. End of story. Stop lying. It's disgusting.
But what I'm saying, Anthony, is you could definitely do that in Stellarium, right? And it would show you the same result as what you see there. I'm confident without. I just know it would.
Oh, did you lose your sound now? Is that what happened?
You're on mute. Yeah, he's on mute.
He's gone.
I'll be Anthony Riley in the meantime.
And he's back.
Oh, he's back.
So, I mean, why are you constantly trying to lie, Anthony?
Oh, that isn't Anthony. For some reason. I just saw the picture.
Did you think the picture was him, actually?
Yeah, if I wasn't thinking.
Oh, your sound is still no good? Oh, that's really convenient for you, isn't it?
Like, the universe might be trying to tell you something, Riley.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Idiot.
I mean, that's what it comes down to, isn't it, Liz? A lot of these things, they're just misunderstanding all the information and the
well,
fact
and here's another problem, Kat. We don't all understand them either perfectly well, and we're coming on here to try and defend it, and it's not really worth our time because we don't gain anything. You end up wasting your time and energy.
Yeah, you should pick on Bible bashers. They're way worse.
No, I shouldn't pick on anyone. I should actually get off of here and stop doing it altogether.
Yeah, you're right, actually, Lewis.
That's easier said than done, though.
Yeah,
isn't
it's
it?
addictive.
Yeah.
Telling the people are wrong on the internet's addictive. We're all addicted to it, both sides. It's just that, like, it's even better being a glober because, like, we're right. If
No, you're
arguing-
wrong.
Yeah, see, right there. It's so much fun.
But you know what I mean, right? If you argue about 9/11 or even God or whatever Bible bashes, you're never going to get anywhere. But the thing is about the flat Earth, which is great, is the Earth really is a globe. I mean, it's just fun.
Anthony, can you hear me call you a liar now? Yeah.
Damn
so
straight,
you understand what the night sky looks at when you look north or south? You understand that? It's different than when you're facing east-west, and that was an east-west facing sky. And your claim that it doesn't move as he was traveling, it was moving. It actually was moving. It was quite noticeably moving. So you're lying twice.
I have to join a cult to find people to talk to me, but then when they realize
How does it feel to be caught lying, Anthony? Oh, well, it's a common feeling for you. You know what it feels like because you lie all the time and everyone catches you. Maybe you and Ranty should stop lying to people.
Slow down. I couldn't hear you through all the space junk. What?
Ranty said he had chemtrail burns. That was
Chem burns. Ranty was looking at the sun for like hours and hours, looking at the sky, and he said he got chem burns, even though he was like looking up at the sky for hours with no sunburn. Block on. And he was at a flat Earth meetup apparently, and no one else got chem burns. So,
and if you question it and said maybe you got sunburn, he would ban you.
So while there's a little bit of chit chat as Anthony Riley tries to rejoin the call, I'll do a few more links as there is about half an hour left on this live stream. So if you did want to join the debate, simply click on the link in the info box below this video, but be sure to mute the watch page before you do so. If you wanted to support this channel, there is a link to the super chat which runs alongside the show while it is live. Come on, can either sit on me or don't sit on me. Come on, Munchkin, let's get through this together. There are only a couple of rules in the Hangout. Number 1, please do not swear. If you do, you will be ejected. And number 2, if you are ejected, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. If you've not done so already, please share the show on social media. And if you are new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate.
That we've helped, and you know, because this, it may be, it's cool, like you're flat earthers, doesn't really affect in your life. That's okay if you've got the right personality for it. But a lot of people, this does affect their life in a seriously negative way. And it's not just flat earth, it's any sort of conspiracy, or if you get into anything really. And, it doesn't even have to be, conspiracy. It could be other things like religion even. I'm a Christian, but you could be too into that or too into whatever.
Yeah. I want everyone to hear me call Riley a liar one more time, because Nathan muted everyone right in the middle of that speech, and I thought it was really good.
You go ahead.
No, I just did it there in the description that I just gave.
Yeah, Cat Earth, I hear on Hangouts Flat Earthers talk about how it kind of separates them from friends and family sometimes, and that sounds exactly like me. Like I called in 2009. I remember calling into a Patriot radio show that talked about like Federal Reserve conspiracies and 9/11 conspiracies. And I said the same thing to the host. I was complaining about how, everyone thinks I'm crazy. And I remember I learned about the Vatican was actually worshiping the devil, not, Jesus or whatever. And, and that like separated me from my mom because she was like a hardcore Catholic. But that's something that like I had always felt my whole life, because when you read like the story of Jesus, you know, like Jesus would be like giving away money to the poor and stuff, and then you see the Catholic Church and they're like responsible for the Spanish Inquisition, and they've just hoarded wealth and haven't really helped people, you know. So
wow, what a useful belief.
They're not,
but you know, but that's the thing, is that like, even though the Catholic Church is like awful, like it doesn't mean that you should go around like hating all Catholic people, right? Most people are Catholics, like probably the majority of them don't really believe in anything. They just grow born that way, right? Or just raised in that environment. And you know,
Sorry to butt in. I think is the feed lagging out, or is that me?
It might be you. It might be you.
I'm not hearing it.
I'm still getting like the Hangout all good, but Nathan's YouTube page looks like it's like chugging.
Oh, that might be just a bit rate or something.
Hey Riley, you're still in the chat there. Is there a problem with your audio, or is it just really convenient that I came in and called you out on your crap?
I think Cat Earth, you just have to avoid talking about some issues with people, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Here you are, Riley.
Restraint, right? And you know, that's what a lot of this is about. I think a lot of the idea of these flat earthers going mad and attacking everyone, the globers are my friends, they're horrible, demonizing your opposition. That's when you fall into a trap, is when you're demonizing your opponents in anything, really.
Did you figure out what was wrong with your audio, Riley? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I accidentally kicked myself.
Oh, okay. So why are you presenting information in exactly the wrong way?
What do you mean presenting information?
Well, you showed a picture of somebody flying east-west direction based on the night sky, and also claimed that it wasn't changing when it was.
Do you understand the geometric direction of Europe to South Africa? That's not east to west.
That's why I called you out on it.
Do you understand north to south against east to west, Lewis?
Yeah.
So what general direction are you heading in if you're traveling from Europe to South Africa?
Did you see the strip of bright stars in the sky?
Hang on, let me go back to the. Let me play the.
Can you turn off your camera, Sleeping Warrior, so we get your icon?
I'm going to share screens. Just hang on one sec. It's that one.
Yeah, I really like that you took away the picture of the guy from Dark Souls swinging a Zweihander. It's a great game. I don't think it's worthy of you.
I only just understood what you were doing there. Like, it's swinging warrior, isn't it? I get it.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty good.
Oh, there it is. It's back. You should get rid of that. You don't deserve it.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Sleeping with
anyway, that's from a game. That's from a game. The game is better than you.
All right. So,
Lewis, you are so mean.
Lewis, read this. What does that line say?
It's wrong.
Really? Europe to South Africa.
Scroll up. Scroll up. You see that strip?
Looks south to me.
You see that strip?
That looks south to me. He's going past the Sahara.
Yeah, you see that strip?
Yeah.
What direction is that facing?
Well, I would have. Well, at that exact moment, I couldn't tell you the precise direction. But generally speaking,
can't.
It's
okay,
south.
that's because you don't know what you're looking at. What direction is the ground moving? What direction is the ground moving?
What do you mean? It's moving behind you. You're in a plane. Planes only fly one way.
Right. The whole point is, what direction is the camera facing in relation to the direction of travel? Why don't you go back to the image that we were just looking at?
Why don't we accept the given facts and say that he's generally flying?
Why don't you go back to the image, which is what we were talking about?
He's generally flying from Europe to South Africa. What general direction is that, Lewis? Come on, this isn't difficult.
That general direction is wrong.
Are you sure?
It's clearly west.
Yes. Look at the orientation. Look at the orientation of the Milky Way. Look at the orientation of the Milky Way.
Right, but what I'm saying is, it says Europe
what I'm
to
saying
South
is,
Africa.
look at the orientation of the Milky Way.
Right, I'm not interested in what you're saying with this.
Oh, okay. Well, then you're wrong.
No, I'm not.
It sounds like you can navigate around
You're lying. You're lying,
dude.
How am I lying?
Because the footage here, the footage here is wrong. The footage here is wrong. I don't know who Dr. World News is, but he's wrong.
Neither do I. But he's claiming it as a pilot captures time lapse. He's probably mirrored it.
There's multiple things here that's going on. One of them is the camera's not facing north south.
Let's see if any.
And the second thing is, Anthony, that the night sky is actually moving.
Let's see if anybody claims
And you can
that
tell
it's,
that it's moving. You can clearly see that that night sky is moving.
No, it's clearly not moving. That's my point.
Yes, it is. Look at it. It's literally walking.
It's moving left to right. It's not moving up to down, which is what the original version was.
Yes, exactly. Which indicates that you're not flying straight north-south. And what you're seeing in the sky there also indicates that.
Okay, so let's look
South America or South Africa.
Well, it says SA, so I'm assuming it says it means SA meaning South Africa.
Traveling to Europe to South America. So it's the way Lewis is saying, because that would be east to west.
Well,
right?
hang on. He's flying over Dakar and the Sahara Desert, so he's not flying to America. Look, if you see at the beginning here.
Well, maybe he goes a different route and he stops.
Well, there's Palma Mallorca. That's Mediterranean.
I just can't believe how much you lie. I just can't even believe it.
I don't know where that
bloody,
is.
Oi, mate, put on the bloody Australia map there, mate, and show bloody Canberra there and tell me why the sun sets in the southwest, mate. Bloody Jesus Christ.
Declination is the answer to that, I would have thought.
It's a good...
I mean, Jesus did it?
I mean, I don't know what you expect to see when you look up at the night sky, but I know what I expect to see.
Yeah, well, maybe your expectations aren't as accurate as the real world. There's the Sahara, so he's definitely
my expectations are based on the real world, not sitting in front of a computer all day.
No, your expectations are based on Tim and what Tim tells you.
I don't talk to Tim. I don't know what you're talking about.
You used to.
No,
I'm not now. I'm not now.
They
Anthony,
used to. They were best friends for a while.
You are actually really stupid. You're actually very stupid. You're assuming things about me you can't possibly know.
Well, the thing, don't forget about that. You're saying that this
No. How about you stop assuming things about people you can't possibly know?
Let's stay on that. Let's stay on topic.
Okay, yeah, let's get back to the video where he's not looking north-south.
Is this looking east to west, Lewis, or is it generally looking south? No, it isn't. No, it isn't. He's flying over Africa from Europe.
Tell me, prove to me, show me a picture with a compass on it, also demonstrating this. The same night sky.
Oh, actually, it does say South America.
No. How about you actually prove the claim you're saying?
Hang on, he's saying while traveling
How
from
about you
Europe
prove? How about you prove the claim you're saying? I'm telling you that guy is wrong.
I'm confused as well.
I'm agreeing with you, Lewis. It does say South America rather than South Africa.
Dude, I didn't say it says South America.
But anyway,
I said that's not a north-south facing sky, Anthony. That's what I said.
But the point is, the stars aren't moving.
Anthony,
that was the point of the video.
Repeat to me what I said?
The point of the video that I was making was that the stars are not moving.
Anthony, please repeat to me what I said.
I'm not on about you. I'm on about what the video shows in relation to the stars.
I'm just going to leave.
Bye.
This is ridiculous.
Bye. Shut the door on your way out. It's drafty. Right. So, Alex.
Yeah.
Regardless of the position of the regardless of the direction of travel, there's loads of videos that indicate that the stars might not.
Hello, can't hear you anymore.
I think. Have you just sniped him out, P? Blame the devil.
No.
Well, don't blame P bars. That's mean.
No, I didn't blame him. I asked him.
It was Lewis.
Lewis dropped out of annoyance.
Lewis sniped.
Did Make 4 get sniped?
Yeah, he sniped Make 4. Does he keep sniping? He might still be sniping people.
Oh, I'm never going to get to work at this rate. How much left is the show, Nathan? Have we got just a couple of minutes? I don't know what to talk about.
If you give me a second, I'll get.
I got some notes about leadership.
Come on then.
It's like the flat earthers. The flat earthers are always saying this is a leaderless movement and stuff. And
been joined by Mr. Mason. How you doing, Mr. Mason?
Yeah, I think the rest of us are about to get sniped now.
Cool. Good ending. It's been a really good show so far.
There you go. That's a good end, yeah.
Hiya, pal.
You are now on the air again.
Oh, I'm not hearing you. You can hear me, I think, but I don't think I can hear you.
He's back.
Have you got the same audio problem?
You can't kill him.
I'm not hearing you, Nathan. It might be me. Hang on. No, I don't think it's me.
Give me a second. You can hear baby cries and stuff because I can't mute my mic while I've got the sorting.
I can only see your lips moving, Nathan. I can't hear you.
I can
Are you sure you've sent
Hey, Riley. What's up, Riley?
Can you hear
that's not Riley. Oh, that's Eleanor.
Oh.
Oh.
Tilly. I think she's trying to say globe.
What are you doing?
Globe. She's trying to tell you, Nathan.
Say again. Say again, Alex.
I think she's trying to say globe.
What's that you say?
Globe. Globe.
She says, hit that super chat.
Bull. Super chat.
What she said, I can't help what she says. Is that working? Can you hear me now?
No, I'm not.
It's your problem, I'm afraid. Your end.
Are you gonna let Eleanor play with balls?
Definitely.
You don't want to program her.
No, wait, that sounds wrong.
Yeah,
Right,
we'll let Anthony sort his. It's his end. It's
I
not
guess
me.
it does. I
hope.
didn't mean it like that.
Oh, that's a bit weird.
I meant like globes.
It was my bad. Sorry.
Let's have a look. See
Anyway,
how long we got left.
seeing as Riley's not here. Oh, sorry, Nathan.
I was just going to see. I was just checking how long we got left. We've got about 20 minutes left. So.
Oh, damn. We need someone to beat up on. Can you not? We've got to get Riley back.
Make 4 is asking if he's perma blocked now. No, if you get sniped out, you can still come back on the next feed. So if it got terrible and everyone got sniped out, I'd just start another one and you could join immediately. But unfortunately, yeah, once you've been sniped, you can't join this particular hangout.
Sorry, mate. 4 happens to us all at some point.
It's working.
There we go. Can you
We
hear?
hear Riley.
Yeah, it's working. It's working.
Ah, cool. There we go. Good.
I think for some reason when I drop out of a chat, be it sniped or accidentally, for some reason my headphones just act daft. Who was it that sniped then?
Lewis. If you're listening, Lewis, look up the Streisand effect.
What is it? I'm going to look it up now. I don't even know. Is it like a Barbara Streisand?
Do you want to hear the story? I'll tell you the story briefly. Hopefully my kid will let me. So Barbara Streisand had a photograph taken of her new beautiful home and somebody published it online. And I think from memory, this is maybe slightly incorrect, but about 8 people downloaded the image of her home. And she was furious, so she sued the publisher. And as a consequence, it got a huge amount of publicity. So by trying to censor the pictures of her house, it ended up that everybody got to see her house. And that's now dubbed the Streisand effect. And what Lewis did was he came on live and asked me to take down a video. So what happens? About 5 people have mirrored it. Shock horror.
Yeah, a lot of times, like, I remember back in the day, if like a CD came out, I think like Naughty by Nature or something. They
I saw John Watson share that video. Sorry, P. Sorry, yeah.
They would publicize like, oh, Best Buy won't sell this music, or some, famous company won't sell this music. And by doing that, they make all these news articles about it, and that's like really good advertising. So censorship is a way to, because it's sort of that like the exclusive club thing. Like people want to get into the exclusive club where they're not supposed to be and stuff.
I think a big part of the way some of the big votes have gone around the world recently is a big part of that as well. Is that trying to shut one side of the argument down only gives them sort of more attention in a lot of ways. The sort of like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it happened with Brexit and that kind of.
Yeah, because everyone's like, well, I don't trust the news. They're all just.
The Remainers, like, I mean, I did personally vote Remain, but a lot of them did just try to shut any like validity behind Leave Down, and that amplified their kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the same with Donald Trump as well, to be honest.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's like part of like how clever, if there is a they that control everything, that how clever they would be to deliberately discredit the news and make you, like make the news so irritating you just listen to someone else, or you just.
I stopped watching it years too much.
It's not. It's just like It's all
Sorry,
about like
P. Can I just ask Nick a
celebrities
quick
and
favour?
sports and stuff.
So whatever your mic that picks you up, Nick, if you can just be about 6 inches further away from it, then
Yeah,
if you're
I'm
quieter
getting
as a
it,
result,
like-
I will turn you up.
Nick has a helicopter mic.
Yeah, this costs like £2. I'm getting a new one soon. I'm sorry for any.
It's miles. It's if you just literally have it further away from wherever you're speaking, it's perfectly loud enough. And if it does get, obviously, it'll get quieter for being further away. I will turn you up, so you'll be heard clearer and louder anyway.
Cool, thanks. Yeah.
I've been listening to a lot about a guy talking about how the news is devolved, and they've done that intentionally to talk about like celebrities and sports and like stupid, like I guess sports didn't even used to be part of the news, and now it's like a huge part of like every newscast.
Well, I don't know. I think as far as I can remember and seeing back, they've always had a sports section because you know.
Yeah, I'm talking like back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. People are, I think like, I get really frustrated with people because we're encouraged to like play like sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and I'm just like, man, like life isn't just like this game where from cradle to grave we're supposed to play and have fun and enjoy ourselves. It's like this is like serious things are happening and the world's changing, and while we're playing, we're like going into a nightmare future, man. So I don't know. I just get frustrated. Like I wanna like go to war with these upper class people who are enslaving us, but like people just want to.
I used to think the same, but the thing is that what good is that actually going to do? Like, I mean, a lot of people talk about revolution and stuff, but you know, people in this country are scared of Brexit, right? They're scared of just having a little bit of economic upset to make things more fair, and you know, to stop us going down a path we might not be able to get back out of later, right? And people are worried about that Brexit. Yeah, they don't want that. So how do you think the world's going to cope if you have a revolution? You know, people really like, and is it good for the world? A lot of people are going to die. A lot of people are going to die unnecessarily. And sometimes I think, you know, I used to be very anarchistic, and now I really like I weighed it up, like what's more important, like for the grander scheme of things. And even though I don't think a one world government, I don't want a one government for obvious reasons. If you're a conspiracy theorist, I think that is sort of a general direction that the world will go in anyway, and it can work if it's done in the right way. And I think what's more important is that people realize what kind of government we should have rather than revolution.
We're programmed to think that. Like I heard Lewis have that opinion on he was on a hangout last night. It wasn't a flat earth hangout, and they were talking about governments and stuff, and Lewis said that like it's okay, it'd be okay if people die in the process of like a revolution towards a one world government, because it's better if people come together and focus and stuff. And I think that's just a totally indoctrinated opinion, because that's what, well, it's already here, but they're gonna make it more like official, I guess, in the future.
Yeah, I don't want people to die, and I don't want a world government, to be honest. But at the same time, I don't think there's sort of no way like to avoid it, right? I mean, I'm a Christian, so I believe that the world is going to be in a one world government at some point, whether it's now or in 1,000 years, who knows? But so I think it's unavoidable. But what I don't do anymore is worry about it so much. I do spend time to try and tell the people around me about what socialism is and why I think it's a really bad idea, because I think a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about what it is. They think it sounds good, but you don't need socialism to do good things. I mean, socialism doesn't do anything good. It's
funny, like the rich are behind socialism. Like the rich have this way of tricking the poor into thinking an idea is going to be good for them. Like to get the Federal Reserve back in the day, like the public was against they called it like the money trust, and people were kind of aware of these like rich people that had owned a lot of things. They called it the money trust in the press. And so when they tried to push the idea of the Federal Reserve, they came out in the press with all the papers saying that the money trust didn't want the Federal Reserve to happen because it would be good for the people. But the money trust was behind the Federal Reserve, right? So it's like they use their own like bad perception to get what they wanted, and you know, it's like they're just masters of swaying public opinion and getting what they want, and they just slowly chipping away at us, and we're losing all our privacy, a lot of our freedoms, and it's going in a bad direction.
Well, that's what I think. This whole idea of everything now is like a division, like a separation. It just seems really division. Like, so it's men versus women, blacks versus white, gays versus straights. Wherever you go anywhere, there's like a division. Globers versus flat earthers.
Well, even within flat Earth, right? They have like there's the sort of scientific type, like zetetic astronomy. Like Dell doesn't really like religion, right? But then there's other large like Christian section of flat Earth. So it's like even if we come together an idea, before we've come together on this whatever idea, we're already like divided by things like religion, politics, or just personalities even. Because
we don't need to be united. All we need to do is just accept, really, that you are you, be you. And we should all be trying to tolerate each other where, it's within reason, obviously if people are murdering people, you don't tolerate that.
I think we should be individuals, be unique, try and be who we are, and not like be these compartmentalized like I feel like people are very compartmentalized into like a demographic, whatever, like music, whatever genre they're into, they sort of fit a stereotype of what those people are like, and it's true in a lot of ways. So I feel like there's not very many original people. Like on Halloween, people just dress up what like they see in their favorite character in a comic or TV show or something.
Yeah, but it's all right, man. I think that, like, the reason I don't worry about it is I think it's your life's too short, man, to spend trying to change the world. Why not just try and change your life and the people around you? And it might be a bit selfish, but I think life is too short. Like, unless this is serious. I don't know. I'm of two minds. It's the question I think about the most, actually, is like, should I be more out on the rooftop shouting what I believe, trying to help fix the world, or should I just be trying to, worry about my own life and people around me? It's actually a really tough one to answer.
Go ahead.
Well, I just say one's inherently selfish. Do you know what I mean? To just worry about your own life, and but at the same time, what do a lot of people achieve by shouting things from the rooftops? What do a lot of the flat earthers achieve? I mean, it's different if you're actually going out there and doing something, but a lot of this flat earth stuff is just on YouTube. It's not achieving anything. Really. I mean, maybe it's a bit of awareness, but.
I don't know. If you look at how many people are in chat that are new names, I mean, yeah, there's the regulars, but there's a lot of new names popping in and out of chat that I've not seen before ever. So it's
a lot of socks.
People are coming to it.
You'd be surprised.
Huh?
You never know if it's not me in one of my socks.
Yeah, I think actually sometimes you'd be surprised at how many people you change, I guess, or affect just by like living your life and being you.
I mean, on another level, I mean, if everyone tried to do this, then the whole world would be a better place, right? Because everyone would have each other's backs covered.
Yeah.
And I think that's more.
I was gonna say, like, one of my favorite scenes in the movie The Matrix is when the character who betrayed them was trying to go back into the Matrix, and he's having dinner with an agent. And he's talking about how he wants to forget everything about the truth, because he's like, when he's eating like steak, right? He's having a nice steak dinner, and he's like, I can't even enjoy this steak because I know it's not real and stuff. And that's kind of like how I feel about society, and like it's like hard for me to enjoy myself and have fun when I just see it's like people are really fake and like things are fake, and so I can't just go back and watch like a TV show made by these like pedophiles in Hollywood and just not think about that. So,
Well, you can definitely boycott. You can do without all that crap anyway, kind of. Yeah. It doesn't do you any good.
So I don't know. It's just like that. I kind of identify with that scene because it's like it's hard for me to enjoy the normal things, and I don't know. I guess my way of enjoying life is kind of rebelling in my own way. I guess because that's like,
being a dick.
Yeah. I like to challenge people.
Yeah, just for the record, Lewis has corrected his position in chat. He accepts that it was a south-facing sky in that image, so he's apologised, and I've forgiven him, and I've invited him to sit on my knee because he looks cute when he's angry.
Duh. I love Lewis.
I like him. I think he's funny. I just wish that he could engage in the debate more, because he can debate. He can do it.
I like Lewis.
No, he knows loads of stuff, man.
I like Lewis too, and to be honest, that comment has really notched him up in my opinion, because he showed a lack of humility when he was insulting people like David, which is why I made that video. I did tell him this, so it's nothing new. But by doing that in the chat, you think, yeah, that's good. That's exactly what you need, a bit more humility.
Yeah, man. Good on you, Lewis, man.
Patricia put that video on Facebook. That's how I found out about it. Oh man,
we've got about 5 minutes left, guys, just so you know, maybe a bit less.
We'll get there, and I'll go to work finally. Sorry, Karen.
No, I was gonna say I follow Patricia Steer on Facebook. Why am I giving advertising for Patricia Steer?
Is it worth finishing off the last 5 minutes with the opening 5 minutes that I said about the comment about curved? No, not curved. The comment that Mark Taylor said last night. Because I've got the clip. I can play the clip.
Let's bring the cycle back to the circle. The cycle is complete.
Have you guys seen the 12 Shields of Christmas?
No.
Look up the 12. I think it's called the 12 Flat Earth Shields of Christmas.
Is it good?
I hope Hillbilly didn't do it.
I've just realised I don't have it because I had to restart my machine, didn't I? And then when I restarted it, I lost it. So we'll have to just forget that. We'll talk about the 12 Shields of Christmas instead. When he finishes reasonably chastising his child.
Just looking it up.
Is it like on the first day of Christmas, my true love? I hate that song.
This is epic.
That last one last year was brilliant. Is that the same one? I'm not sure if it's the same one he's on about. I'm guessing he's going to open his mic up now. But Nathan, are you on about the 12 Shields of Christmas from last year? That I think it was Hillbilly or something had something to do with. It was brilliant.
No, it's a new one. I don't think it's Hillbilly's. It's someone else's. If I find it, I'll stick it in the link on the next show.
Well, can I? I've got it here. Can I put it?
Yeah, go on, play it,
and then you could link it if you want. It's up to you. It's really funny. I just watched a little bit of it. 9 Nathan Oakleys.
You got 5? Oh, I can't see that though. Can you share it in the main chat? Oh, there we go.
I can't. No, I'm not mod. Just if Nathan wants to share it, that's the link.
I think he's playing it.
If it's the right video as well.
He's playing it, but we can't hear it. But oh, hang on, I can go into the watch.
For the second shield of Christmas my YouTube gave to me, 2 Patricia Steers and a Mark Sargent in a Petri. For the third shield of Christmas my YouTube gave to me, 3 Jeranisms, 2 Patricia Steers and a Mark Sargent in a Petri. For the 4th shield of Christmas my YouTube gave to me, 4 Rob Skeebers, 3 Jeranisms, 2 Patricia Steers, and a Mark Sargent in the pantry. For the 5th shield of Christmas, my YouTube gave to me 5 Super Rats, 4 Rob Skeebers, 3 Jeranisms, 2 Patricia Steers, and a Mark Sargent in the pantry. For the 6th shield of Christmas my YouTube gave to me, 6 David Weiss's, 5 Super Rats, 4 Rob Skeebers, 3 Jeranisms, 2 Patricia Steers, and a Mark Sargent in the pantry. For the 7th shield of Christmas my YouTube gave to me, 7 IPS's, 6 David Weiss's, 5 Super Rats, Rob Skippers, 3 Jeranisms, 2 Patricia Steers, and a Mark Sargent and a Petrie. For the 8 shield of Christmas, my YouTube gave to me 8 Flight of Asshole, 7 IPS, 6 David Weiss, 5 Super Rats, 4 Rob Skippers, 3 Jeranisms, 2 Patricia Steers, and a Mark Sargent in a Petrie. For the 9th shield of Christmas, my YouTube gave to me 9 Nathan Oakley's, 8 Flight of Asshole, 7 IBS, 6 David Weiss's, 5 Super Rats, 4 Rob Skippers, 3 Jeranisms, 2 Patricia Steers, and a Mark Sargent in a Petrie. For the 10th shield of Christmas, my YouTube gave to me 10 Cal McDonald's, 9 Nathan Oakley's, 8 Flight of Asshole, 7 IPS, 6 David Weiss's, 5 Super Rats, 4 Rob Skippers, 3 Jeranisms, 2 Patricia Steers, and a Mark Sargent in a Petrie. For the 11th shield of Christmas, my YouTube gave to me 11 Jeffrey Grubbs, 10 Cal McDonald's, 9 Nathan Oakley's, 8 Flight of Asshole, 7 IPS, 6 David Weiss's, 5 Super Rats, 4 Rob Skippers, 3 Jeranisms, 2 Patricia Steers, and a Mark Sargent in a Petrie. For the 12th shield of Christmas, my YouTube gave to me Flight of Paradise, 11 Jeffrey Grubbs, 10 Cal McDonald's, 9 Nathan Oakley's, 8 Flight of Asshole, 7 IPS, 6 David Weiss's, 5 Super Rats, 4 Rob Skippers, 3 Jeranisms, 2 Patricia Steers, and a Mark Sargent in the Petrie.
That's cool.
And with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you, first and foremost, to the live audience for tuning in and sharing. Also, of course, a massive thank you to the panel for making this debate possible. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.